Welcome to the American Warrior Festival podcast, a celebration of our troops, veterans, and American way of life. I'm your host, Dan Clor. All right, all you hard chargers, prepare yourselves for the American Warrior Festival's maiden voyage into the world of podcasting. Tonight's episode will be called Adapt and Overcome, and that's exactly what we're doing here at American Warrior. With a worldwide pandemic on our hands and multiple events being canceled or postponed, we figured what better time to pollute the airwaves with our brand of debauchery. So here we are. And I tell you what, I'm really excited about this. We have a great show for you here tonight. We have a very special guest in Lieutenant Colonel Terry Hagan, the man that I credit primarily for helping me salvage my Marine Corps career. Our master of chocolates, bow ties, and European metal, the one and only Jeremy Lyles of Oliver's Candies, and last but not least, the selfless Fred Alvarado of San Antonio, Texas, who's doing great work by feeding homeless veterans in need in San Antonio. We're also going to discuss our American Warrior Festival National Food Drive and our program with the greatest teams in professional sports, the Raiders, Yankees, and LA Kings. We run that program through our father company called Strength in Numbers Entertainment. Now, I'm going to apologize beforehand for the musical sledgehammer to the forehead that you're going to receive courtesy of American Warrior Festival's flagship band called Weapon X. Now, let's take the time to talk about what American Warrior Festival is all about, what we do, and why we exist. So I'm going to share with you our American Warrior Festival mission statement. Our slogan is, we've been celebrating our troops and veterans and the American way of life through music and entertainment since 2012. Now our mission is to provide entertainment for the brave men and women who have served and are currently serving the United States Armed Forces, and to give them access to veteran support resources through our nonprofit partners. Why we exist. It is truly remarkable and much appreciated that today's veterans and active military personnel enjoy much greater public support and recognition than in years past. However, cases of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, suicides, homelessness, drug abuse, and unemployment amongst veterans are at an all-time high. Far too many of our brothers and sisters still suffer because they don't know where to turn for help, or are hesitant to do so. We as Americans must pick up the slack and help these heroes in any ways that we can. Every one of these men and women have sacrificed their bodies and minds for country and cause. They have earned the right to be remembered and rewarded. Now what do? What we do is we produce single and multiple day concerts and festivals in cities all across America. We showcase local, regional, and national bands. We organize group travel to various events and locations, including concerts, sporting events, tours, cruises, military sites, battlefields, memorials. We provide information, resources, and support to attending veterans through nonprofit veteran-based organizations. We donate to our nonprofit partners who have contributed at each event. Funds from local and national sponsorships, contributions from private businesses and individuals, ticket sales, concessions, merchandise, etc., enable veterans to attend these events for free and cover production, operational, and logistical costs. AWF needs you. The American Warrior Festival is by no means the answer to all problems and issues faced by these selfless individuals. It is simply our way of showing them that we care, and their service was not in vain and will never be forgotten. Your contribution, however large or small, enables us to show them the love that they deserve. Please join us in giving our military family members an amazing experience. There it is, folks. That's what we do here at American Warrior Festival. Now, back to the main theme of our episode. Adapt and overcome. Of all the great lessons that I've learned in my time in the United States Marine Corps, the mantra adapt and overcome
is as important as any. You can apply this philosophy to virtually any problem. Any challenge or obstacle, you can apply this. When life punches you in the face, like it's often going to do, you must be prepared. You must be willing to take it head on. You must be willing to adapt. Now, this pandemic, the situation we're all currently fighting through is like nothing we've ever seen or experienced before. In our generation, our parents' generation, hell, our grandparents' generation. It's a different animal. Many people have lost their lives, or they're living during these challenging times. People are struggling to keep their businesses afloat, their lights on. Look at the kids. And kids are missing out on school, sports, their senior years. I mean, that's heartbreaking. It's a tough situation all around. But regardless of what your view or opinion on our current situation is, I find these following words to be true. You know, we have an opportunity here if we choose to recognize it or not. I mean, we have a chance to sharpen our iron, to adapt and overcome. We can become much stronger, more appreciative. We can be more patient and honest. We can become more caring individuals overall. In one way or another, we all have a test right here, right now, right here in front of us. A test that none of us have been able to study for. I mean, we feel unprepared and confused. We're angry, right? I mean, it's unfair. My friends, we all know life never was or ever will be fair. The world doesn't owe us that. Many of us may lose something very valuable and dear to us. Some may lose a job that they love. Some may lose a business that they've devoted their lives to. And many will miss out on an amazing life experience that they will never get the chance to recreate. And God forbid some may even lose a loved one and not be able to hold their hand as they go. This is the cold, hard truth. And as much as it hurts, we still have an opportunity. We've all heard the expression, right? It's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up. And this is one of life's most amazing, powerful opportunities. As long as you're breathing, you get to fight another freaking day. The job you lost may come back. If not, what are you going to do? You're going to find something new that opens up a whole new world for yourself, for you. If you lost a business that you poured your blood, sweat, and tears into, well, damn it, build it up. Build it again. Build it stronger. You might build something better than you ever thought was possible. If you lost a life experience that you can't get back, then you'll learn to appreciate time more than you ever had before. Think about if you're one of those youngsters who's missing out on something that they've worked their whole life for, such as school, sports, graduation. As sad as it is for those young human lives, you will overcome it and gain very vital life experience early on. If nothing else, you're going to learn that life can beat you down, but only if you let it. Only if you let it. Our young people will be mentally stronger at that age than we could have ever imagined. Your loved ones, we know how fleeting life can be. Hold them tighter. Make time for them. Make that call to mom that you might not have made a day before. Appreciate the time more than you ever had before. Don't waste a chance to tell them that you love them. It's time to adapt and overcome, my friends. In the great words of Rocky Balboa's trainer, Mickey Goldmill, get up, you son of a bitch, 'cause Mickey loves you. I love that freaking movie. Who doesn't love Mick, right? Who doesn't love the Rocco? that I'm pulling for each and every one of you out there to overcome your challenges and to live your best life. We're going to live our best life here at American Warrior by continuing our national food drive in this here podcast. In time, we'll get back to what we do best, which is putting on national concerts and events. So until then, grab a cold one, a cigar, or a great glass of bourbon, and enjoy the show. Here is Weapon X with One Shot, One Kill.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a good friend of the American Warrior Festival, Terry Hagan, Lieutenant Colonel, USMC, retired. Terry, how's it going, brother?
Doing great, Dan. How are you, man?
Oh, doing awesome, man. Having a great time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's sincerely humbling to be one of your first guests on this podcast. So it's really cool for me to be here.
Oh, thank you, man. The honor is all ours. Trust me. So yeah, Terry and I go way back, all the way to Leroy's school. Leroy's a school in Western New York.
where Terry was a football player, wrestler, and, I kind of got to know Terry quite a bit because I would bring him water bottles out in the middle of the mat for his wrestling matches. So it's pretty much a water boy at that time. I mean, they used a fancy name. Remember, Terry? They called us managers, but I was basically managing the water bottle. So, Terry, do you remember those good times, man, bringing the water out to you on the mat?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Dan was always one of those guys that was, a little bit short in stature, but full of personality. And everybody loved Dan, everybody loved Dan out there as a water boy, so to speak. But we all knew you had good potential, Dan. So, we always looked up to you.
Oh, yeah, man.
Too. I think it was football, too. You're like one of the managers for football as well. So in the locker room and everything, that was always a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great to be around the older athletes to get inspired to learn the game. We learned a lot in wrestling, being managers. I mean, just even getting beat up by the older kids is part of the whole process, that take your lumps and develop from there and get you ready for the real deal when, it's our go time. So yeah, look back at those times as really good times. Now, Terry, I also remember that, you were what, valedictorian of the class, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a small. Keep in mind, Leroy's a pretty small school. So when I describe my hometown to folks when I first meet them, or they want to know what Leroy's like, I always say it's the birthplace of Jello. So it's one of the hallmarks that we have with Leroy and everything. But yeah, it's a small school. So yeah, it was. Yes, I was valedictorian, but it was not like I was competing against 1,000 other people in some big city school kind of thing.
Hey, but you know what? There's some brainiacs there, though, man. Terry's being humble, ladies and gentlemen. He's being very humble. But I do remember that Terry was going to the Naval Academy, and I remember being really inspired by that because I had an older cousin who went to West Point. And so I knew what it took for the process to get in one of those amazing academies, Naval Academy, West Point. So, Terry, tell us a little bit about what inspired you to go to the Naval Academy and ultimately become a Marine Corps officer.
Well, that's a great question, and, growing up in a small town, I mean, I think I just had a perception that I wanted to do something bigger. And I didn't want to spend, my entire life in a small town like Leroy. I just want to go out and see the world, So I looked at the Naval Academy as an opportunity to do that. And quite frankly, it was not, my focus at the time was not necessarily on the Marine Corps. I just knew that there was opportunity there, and I had to kind of figure it out, as I kind of went through the process of all that stuff. So we did have one of our fellow Leroyans attend the Naval Academy and end up being the football team captain with Bert Pangrazio and stuff like that. So he was one of the few people I remember growing up, as my inspiration, for looking at, other opportunities out there and what to do, So anyway, yeah, it was one of the neat things about the Naval Academy, I guess I'll just say briefly, is that you get humbled pretty fast, So, you can come from a small town and do a lot of things in your small town. But once you get there, you're just like one of many. You're just an average dude. So, you try to, you talk about adversity and stuff like that. And I think that's one of our, overcoming adversity is one of our themes of the topic today. And, you always have to find a way, of, finding what you're good at, what you might be, better at, and, taking the initiative to actually go out and do those kinds of things. So the Naval Academy definitely provides that in spades. And there's definitely lots of adversity when you get there. So you have to figure it out, how are you going to be able to succeed and get through everything. So the Marine Corps on that end, was probably one of the last things I was thinking about when I first went there. But it's just like one of those things you do your summer training, and I just had the most fun being with the Marines down at Quantico and doing that kind of stuff. I didn't mind the physicality of it. I mean, the people were really good. And all the Marine Corps officers and enlisted folks that they had at the academy are all top-notch people that I could say, yes, I want to be like that, and that definitely went a long way for me choosing the Marine Corps.
Oh, that's awesome, because see, that's a big question that I have is, is it pretty much tunnel vision? I'm going to the Naval Academy and that's my focus. And also, like you said, coming from a small town, you're just jumping into a large pond now and just probably getting used to your surroundings. Like, what the hell's going on here, and figuring out life and your new surroundings. So that's interesting. I wasn't sure if you knew Marine Corps, you were going Marine Corps right away, if you dove in and kind of took it all in and then decided to make your and follow your path. So that's
definitely
that's really cool.
Definitely a little bit later, for that kind of decision, and it really, like I said, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I kind of figured out that one summer what I didn't want to do, and I didn't want to be on a submarine because it was hitting my head, because I'm 6'4", so I was hitting my head.
Oh, screw that! Yeah, that's a submarine, man. I don't know how those guys do it. Yeah.
And on a ship, it's just life on a ship is not necessarily the greatest, although some people love it. So God bless them. And then being down at Pensacola and flying around, fixed wing aircraft, the T-34 Mentors and some helicopters and stuff like that. It was cool, but I just didn't feel right. So, a lot of times in life, I think you just got to figure out what you are and what fits best. And for me, the Marine Corps was definitely the best fit. I felt the most comfortable with when I got commissioned and out of the academy.
Well, I just think it fits you too, man. I think thinking between the two branches and just the type of person you are, it seemed like it was a great fit for you. And I think you'd agree looking back at your career, right? And I mean, probably one of those things. I can't imagine you have too many regrets here with your decision with all that. I'm sure it's kind of led to positive things in your civilian career as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. And, I had the opportunity to go to West Point as well. And it was like one of those weird kinds of experiences where, long story short, it was a 3-day weekend. I go to the Naval Academy on Friday and Saturday. I go visit West Point Sunday and Monday. And it was just a completely a night and day different experience. Nothing against West Point, but the experience I had up there was a very was not a positive experience by any stretch of the imagination, but it was very much more of a positive experience at the Naval Academy. And that just solidified my mind. It's like, okay, the Army and the West Point is not the solution for me. Although my brother, my father all served in the Army, I have a, family history of folks in the Army and so forth. And no one from my family was ever in the Marine Corps. So I was the first one from my family to do that. But things like that happen in life. I think, Dan, we can talk about some of your experience as well, where certain things happen where, you have to make a decision and figure it out, and sometimes those experiences lead you one way down life or they lead you down another path. And for me, it was down the path of the Naval Academy.
Oh, absolutely. That's awesome. I never knew you went and checked out West Point too. So basically you were able to kind of do the process of elimination and check it all out and really focus on what was going to fit you. So, and hey, I'm glad you did, because, I've told you many times that you've been an amazing, one of the most amazing individuals in my life to help me fix my Marine Corps career. And I know a lot of people know the story because we've done, videos of it and documentaries kind of detailing my story and how I didn't really do things correctly the first time in the Marine Corps. I was a stubborn young Marine, wanted a certain MOS, a certain job, couldn't have it. I bucked the system and, got broken down in rank and basically got processed out of the Marine Corps. And, after a couple years, I just remember it started eating away at me. I just started thinking about it. I was like, man, what the hell happened? Here we are. And I mean, I knew I was in music full time. And the crazy thing that inspired me, I don't know why the hell this happened this way, but I got a Guitar World magazine that had the guitar player from Pantera, Dimebag Darrell, and the guitar player from Ozzy, Zach Wilde, on the front of Guitar World magazine in green camo. They're just dressed up like, and I don't know if the seed hit me in the forehead. Like, get these great guitar players, and they never served, but here they are in camo, and it just motivated me to say, and I'm the type of guy that once I get something in my head, man, I have to push it all the way. So I remember calling prior service recruiters in the Marine Corps, and they found out my reenlistment code at first, and they were like, RE4, are you kidding me? Click. And so I tried everything, and no one wanted to talk to me. I'm like, I'm in good shape. I'm still young. I have things to offer. Look at my record before I got processed out. So I did end up doing the 1 year in the Army and got my honorable discharge. And the Marine Corps still would not talk to me. So fast forward to New Year's Eve, 2004. I'm in my hometown of Leroy, New York, and kind of down on my luck a little bit. And I said, well, something led me to the country club on the golf course. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go out there and just hang out with some friends and see what's going on. And Terry, we run into each other. Hadn't seen you in how long at that point?
Probably since I left high school.
Yeah, at least safe to say a decade, right? Or no, more than that, probably 13, 14 years.
Yeah. I graduated in 89, so like 14 years or so.
Yeah, and I remember the first word, besides saying, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? The first words were, hey, how come you're not in the fight? I'll always remember that. Remember you saying those words to me? Hey, how come you're not in the fight? Yeah, and I told you my story. And I remember you saying, I think we need a few more beers. And we went and got a few more beers.
Yeah, that's right.
And now let's tell the people what your position was at that point in your career where you were able to move mountains for me.
Well, this is another one of those things where things happen in life and you find yourself in a certain position, and nothing that you actually planned or wanted, but at the end of the day, you're there. So I was at Camp Pendleton, and in the Marine Corps, here's another kind of adversity kind of thing. But when I went through the basic school after the Naval Academy, I ended up getting one of the things for an MOS position that I never would have even thought of or even wanted, which was mortar transportation. So I just had spent an arduous 4 years at the academy, and now I go to the basic school, and I was one of these what's called, they divide the class into thirds. So if you're on the top of any third, you pretty much get what you want, right? But if you're on the bottom of the third, then you pretty much left the scraps. Well, that happened to me. On Friday, I was the top guy of the second third. On Saturday, they did remedial land navigation, and some of the lieutenants actually, because of their scores, it actually bumped me up like 2 spots. So on Monday, when we did service selection, I was the second guy from the bottom of the top third. So I made the top third, but you had your choice of adjutant or mortar transportation. Which one do you want, Lieutenant? And that was it. There wasn't any like negotiation of MOSs or any kind of backdoor deals. Whatever was left is what your choice was. So I could relate to your story, Dan. I mean, I'm saying that because I can relate to your story that you didn't get what you wanted, when you went first into the Marine Corps. And I've filled the position of an adjutant. I was in Okinawa, Japan for 3 years with 3rd Marine Division. I ended up spending some time as an adjutant one summer, and that was one of the hardest jobs I've ever had, I think, But okay, so fast forward, I go to graduate school and end up doing my payback tour at a place called the Marine Corps Tactical System Support Activity. So I get a graduate degree in IT and everything, and I do my payback tour. And then I really wanted to stay at Camp Pendleton, and go back out to the fleet. At this time, we're talking like 2002 now. So, Iraq was just starting to heat up and stuff like that. So I wanted to get out to the fleet and so forth. And then I couldn't stay in Southern California. I mean, I could have gone to Camp Lejeune or something like that, but I really wanted to stay in Southern California. So the only position left for me at that time was down at what's called 12th Marine Corps District. So which is on recruiting duty. So I was filling a logistics officer's bill at the time that I saw you on New Year's. And so I wasn't like an active duty recruiter. I don't want to, take anything away from the recruiters that were out there busting their butts and all the officers that were, on a daily basis were being beaten down for making numbers and stuff like that. So I was the logistics officer. So I supported the recruiters with facilities and vehicles and phones and stuff like that and furniture. So I found myself there, not really wanting to be there, but I tried to do my best with what was given to me, and that was it. But in the process, I got to know all the prior service recruiters because at that time, they ended up falling underneath the Marine Corps Recruiting Command, and I had to help them out with all the different facilities that they had across 12 Western states. So I knew all those guys, and it just happened to be at the right time, the right place when I ran into you, which was, for me on that New Year's Eve night was just a last minute decision to actually even go there. I was with my brother and stuff like that. And so we weren't even expecting to hang out there, for New Year's. But I think it was one of the few places open, and it seemed to be a good place. So I'm really glad I ran into you there. But it's just one of those, other pieces of fate, that happen to you during life that you just happen to find yourself at the right place at the right time. And I had the right connections at the time, and I knew the people well enough. So when I heard your story, it's like, hey, I might be able to help you. So at least get you in touch with the right prior service recruiter command and be able to at least provide, written letters of, of endorsement and recommendations and stuff like that. So I'm glad it all worked out. It was certainly just one of those things that was just kind of a fluke. But I knew that night, though, Dan, that, if you could not get back into the Marine Corps, it would always be like this gray cloud, over you, that
absolutely the biggest regret of my life. It was at that point. And I just remember just saying, I want this really bad. I'll go to Iraq tomorrow. And you said, hey, let's have a good time the rest of the night. And when we both get back to California, let's touch base. Here's my number. Get a hold of me, and we'll get the process moving. And I remember that. I remember getting back to California and calling you right away, and you're like, basically, son of a bitch, man. Here we are. All right. And you told me exactly what I needed to do. I wrote a letter and put my heart and soul and passion into it. How I need this, I want this, and I'll do anything to fix my Marine Corps career and make it right. It was just anything, it was all I wanted at that moment. And you got the process going. I think you brought some other fellow officers on board to help out with it. I remember we have, I think, a few Marines back in this area, like Hicks and Ball here, and a few others that helped out. And I remember it went all the way up. Now the prior service recruiter did tell me that it went all the way up the chain of command there at headquarters Marine Corps. And maybe you can clarify this, but I think it went to a colonel's desk and maybe initially got rejected, but then a sergeant major maybe overturned it and said, hey, look at this unit. This Marine at one time was, doing really good things, and he's still young, and he could do the job. And most importantly to the unit, we need bodies and numbers.
Yeah.
And at least that's the story I remember the prior service recruiter telling me. And
I'm sure there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, obviously in this kind of situation, the senior enlisted, the sergeant major, I'm sure has a very big influence on who gets selected and who doesn't. So I'm glad he was able to intervene. And, if he had to adjust somebody's thought process in that, then good on him, because I tell you, it was it worked out great for everyone, just from that one decision. So I may have helped grease the skids a little bit, but really somebody has to make that decision and take that risk. But the thing for me though, Dan, was that you were very honest, genuine, and it wasn't like you were. And I could totally relate to your story because I never wanted to be a mortar transportation officer, or certainly didn't want to be an adjutant, in Okinawa. And that was a whole nother experience over there. So I could get where you're coming from. And it wasn't like out of malice or you did something like extremely, crazy or something like that. It's just that you don't want to be an avid person. So
I needed,
that's what it boils down to.
Right. I needed to be a grunt. It just had to happen for me. And eventually I got there. That was the second part. And let me tell you too, that if I could go back and have done my first stint all the way through normally, like the way most do, I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change that. I love the fact that I had a second chance at it, because it's like one of those things when you put the uniform on the first time, of course you're proud and you love it. And you look in the mirror and you say, wow, I'm one of the few, the proud. But then when it's gone, even taken away by your own hand, even, and you fight to get it back and it doesn't come back easily, and you realize how much you miss it. I tell you what, when I put those freshly starched, baggy, brand new camis on the second time, where I basically, I walk into my new unit, they're baggy on me, so they didn't know, like, who's this shit bag? Then I'm like, wait a second now, you youngsters, let me show you what's up. And I just remember getting into that new unit quickly. Oh man, yeah, I was. That's what was funny, because I went to the gym with those same guys afterwards. I'm like, who wants some? And they're like, oh shit, man, he's got something going on under those baggy ass camis. But I told everyone my story. I didn't expect any special treatment, but it was funny to see, because once I got back in, they're like, all right, let your job know that you're done and you're going to be going to Iraq within 3 months. And I said, you can send me anywhere. I'm ready to do this. And when I got back in, like I said, it was just, they're like, why the hell is this guy so freaking happy to be here? Smiling all the time. This guy doesn't want to be anywhere else. And to me, it was that I'm back. And Terry, I know there's a few Marines in the command that I was attached to that I still keep in touch. They're going to come on the show as well, because they were my squad leaders, my platoon sergeants, and they call me the Reclamation Project. Some of them. And I know that you communicated with some of with our chain of command while I was in Iraq, right? You kept in touch with some of the guys?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So I got done with the recruiting in 2005. I go to 1MEF in Camp Pendleton that August, I guess I reported in into the G4 section. So by now I'm a logistics officer. I'm not technically a mortar transportation officer anymore. So I'm getting ready, I'm going to be part of the 1MEF forward group going to Iraq, to Fallujah, to spend a year starting in early February, I guess it was, to go to Fallujah. So probably about November, I think it was, I ended up getting an email from your company commander just out of the blue on the high side classified email that we had, who is, by then you are now in Ramadi, which for the folks that don't know, in late 2005, 2006, 2007 timeframe, that was probably one of the worst places in the world to be, So Ramadi was not a happy place, and you were there, and you were doing convoy escorts and all kinds of different things with the MP battalion that you were assigned to with that task force. And so I ended up getting an email from your company commander just out of the blue, and just saying you thanked me, for helping you get back into the Marine Corps, but just wrote like this really nice long email of all the things that you were doing, Dan, not only in Ramadi, currently deployed in one of the worst places of the world, but also everything you did, to get the unit ready to go on deployment. Just getting them in shape and improving their PFT scores by like 50 points a piece or something like that. It was something crazy. You had all these statistics on that. So to me, that was one of the most satisfying feelings I've ever had. I felt good that we were able finally to right a wrong. So anyway, it was really, really good.
Thanks, man. Yeah, in fact, looking back at it, it was kind of like the unit's Swiss Army knife. Not only did I do my Marine Corps job, but I had personal training knowledge at that point. And I remember working out with my brothers there in the gym and the ladies attached to our unit as well. And I even led the worship service with the music. I play guitar, obviously. And I remember one of the first times they're like, "Hey, Clor, play us some songs." I'm like, "All right, man. Here, put the little tip jar out. Now, hey, hit up my can here, And so I remember playing a few songs, and I got up, and it was a promotion. Right there. They got up. We did a promotion. I went from private to PFC at that point because I had to start all over,
Man.
So I was like, man, you guys must have liked the song. All right. Every time I play a tune, can I get some rank? Shit. Here we go. I'll be a sergeant major by next week. So, so I just remember the guys that I was attached to, the unit, Staff Sergeant Slick and Sergeant Fisher and all my brothers there. They were just really, really welcoming and supportive. And the fact that I went in there and said, hey, I know I was in the Marine Corps when a lot of you were in third grade, but I deserve what I get here. Put me on fire watch right away. Let's do this. I'm not special. I'm here to right my wrongs and to serve the Marine Corps and my country like I always meant to do. So, I mean, that's why I love having you here with us on the podcast. And I'm so thankful you come to our shows in DC, and we're looking to improve all of these things. It's just, it's real important to stay in touch with you and see how you're doing with your family. And I got a chance to meet your family, and you got a beautiful family there, and you're doing great things in your civilian career. So, how have you found, how's civilian world treating you so far? How you doing there with your new career?
Yeah, pretty well. It's, I guess you just kind of give a little fill in of after Iraq. I spent another year in Camp Pendleton with 1MEF and did some really cool things with the Maritime Prepositioning Force community. It's called MPF, but we have these big ships of combat gear that float around the world ready for contingencies. So I got a chance to do that kind of stuff from a logistics perspective, and spent a lot of time over in Jordan where we did a ship offload over there. And then basically after that, after I got done with 1MEF, got assigned to Headquarters Marine Corps, and I was in the installation and logistics department there, doing some really interesting futuristic type of stuff with drones. If anyone on the line here has ever heard of the K-MAX helicopter, it was an unmanned helicopter that flew in Afghanistan for 2.5 years and moved a lot of cargo. But I was the first logistics project officer for that effort to do that. So that was a really cool project to work on. And I got a chance to spend some time at DARPA doing some really sophisticated advanced technology type of stuff. And then I completely switched brains, and, here's another kind of, moment of fate, in your career where you're expecting to go to a different command to be like an analyst somewhere. And then that job went away because General Mattis didn't really like Joint Forces Command. So they kind of sponsored that billet. And, I had a choice from the monitor either to be the commandant's right-hand man for the Camp Lejeune water lawsuit, which had absolutely no appeal to me at all, or be a planner over at the State Department. So I ended up spending 3 years at the State Department being a political military affairs planner, and working with the combatant commands and the J5s that do that kind of work from kind of like a translator position where, you kind of translate Department of State speak to Department of Defense speak. And so that was a really interesting job. And then my last 6 months, after I decided to retire, I ended up being down at Quantico at Training Education Command as the Deputy G4 down there. So just a logistics officer for that. So after that, I ended up taking a position with, it's called Kane Advisors, but we're a small women-owned, veteran-owned business, and we support the Department of Defense primarily with a lot of commercial clients as well. But I'm still working logistics and supporting the units that I kind of grew up with in the Marine Corps, and working MPF issues and War Reserve issues and stuff like that. And it's been a very fulfilling and satisfying job. The nice thing is I can work virtually, so I can be anywhere, and still be a part of like the Marine Corps community and help support efforts as we look forward. Look forward to the next 10 years or so, where we're going to be and where does the Marine Corps need to be. So I'm still part of that effort, which is a good feeling.
Oh yeah, that's great to still be feel part of the family and help with direction and continue your service in a way on the civilian side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was not a bad transition at all. I think I did a lot of my transition while at the State Department because I worked with civilians every day, and I ended up wearing a suit every day for 3 years. So I only put on my uniform, I think, during the Marine Corps birthday ball. So I had to like blend in with the natives, as they say, because you're a military advisor, but you wear a suit. So that opened up a whole nother world of neat opportunities there, and so anyway, I think it's where I did most of my transition. I mean, a lot of people have a difficult time, getting out of the service and then, translating those kinds of things to the civilian world. And so anyway, I think I've done okay at that part.
So they want to dress you down and put you in civilian gear because they're like, oh man, that shit hot Marine Corps uniform. You don't want people to get intimidated, right? When you're working in that field. So you'd be like, oh
exactly,
man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, no one has any rank, and, you can have like, the senior people there, everybody's on their first name basis. So it's a different kind of culture than kind of what we grew up in the Marine Corps and everything. But it's all good. They're very good professionals, and they do a great job with the limited resources that they have to bring to the table.
I'm sure they're pretty high speed there, I can imagine. Yeah. So, yeah, now I guess we'll wrap it up here with, your thoughts on the American Warrior Festival and what we have going on here, continuing our service, so to speak.
Yeah, well, Dan, I just think what you're doing is just fantastic, and, if your career had worked out any other way where, maybe, you would have spent your first 4 years or so in the Marine Corps and you would have just gotten out and would have been happy I was a Marine, I don't think you would have had the fight or the vision, to give back like what you have been doing. I think it was that adversity that you encountered that really drove you to give back more, but also, just provide that kind of context of appreciating the things that we have here. And then you and I have been around the globe enough to know that we have a lot here in the United States, and it could be a lot worse, in other places.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, your work is fantastic, and I appreciate everything you've been doing. Because I don't think I would have had that kind of vision to do that. And I'm happy to support you any way I can. And so I've actually approached my company to see if we have some foundation work, and I want to apply some hours at least, to your causes and be able to do some good, helpful types of things for the American Warrior Project. So looking forward to that as we work that out.
Oh, that would be amazing, brother, because that is the battle. We have a lot of great things happening, and obviously we're event based and concert based. I always say that the 2 M's, music and military, 2 G's, guns and guitar. That's the lifeblood of my existence. That's where I want to be, and to be able to work within a field where I get to apply my passion for music and my passion for the military and all the veteran family. It's just an amazing feeling to go to work every day. And like with any company that you're starting independently, it's challenging just to get it off the ground. And concerts and large events are very expensive undertakings, and they're also very unpredictable at times. It could be, for lack of a better term, a volatile industry in the sense of you never know how a show is going to turn out. There's a lot of factors in there. And what you guys do and what your strengths are some of the things that we need help with, organization, logistics, analytics, just keeping a strong spreadsheet and having everything in order. I appreciate everything you've done thus far. If you guys find a way to work with us here, we would be, very thankful, and we definitely could put it to good use. So, above all, I just had a damn good time here with you today, brother. It's always a pleasure when we get to talk, and get to hang out.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. And it's great seeing like how I've always found this very fascinating, like how relationships that you have back in the past, continue to, mature and get better over the years and everything. And certainly my relationship with you is very special. And, even though you're a few years younger than me and everything, I really value everything that you've done, that you continue to do, and, looking forward to the next steps going forward. So I'm really grateful, that you had me on the show today. And it's really a special moment for me.
Oh man, like I said, the pleasure is all mine. I handed you the water bottles, you handed me my Marine Corps career back. So I think I still owe you, brother. Bringing it all back, Oh man. Well, I tell you what, enjoy the rest of your day, and you have a great weekend, and we'll be talking with you soon, brother.
Yeah, it sounds good, Dan. Really appreciate it. And so say hi to everyone back home. Looking forward to seeing them again.
Yeah, and do you want to shout out to anyone? You mention your company or anything? Feel free to do it here on the airwaves right now, or if
sure.
You're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're working on. I work for Pena Advisors, like I said, and our foundation work. We like to, help out businesses and organizations that support, veteran issues and other types of things that are important to the folks that work at Cana. And, I think your foundation and your organization would be a great fit for us. And I'd be happy to, continue the relationship from our foundation side. And just a shout out to the folks back in Leroy and everything. I'm down in Virginia, but not that far away. My family's still back there. And so looking forward to getting back when we can after this whole COVID thing. But, I got to see my mom and my brother and his family and so forth. But it's been a while. But once these restrictions lift, I'm sure we'll be back here soon.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Now, where can people find you real quick? How do people, your website or if they're interested in your organization or your company?
Well, it's canaadvisors.com is the name of our company. So you can check it out there. And yeah, I'm in the directory. We're a small company. We're growing. And you'll see me in there or on LinkedIn too, Terry Hagen. You can find me there as well.
All right. That sounds great. Well, man, I had a hell of a time here, and we'll be in touch soon, brother.
All right. Sounds good, Dan. Hey,
all right.
Again.
Take care. All right.
All right. You too. Bye.
That was my good friend, Terry Hagen, Lieutenant Colonel, USMC, retired.
God! Glory of the gods! All hail! Viking chug! Raise your chug! Glory of the gods! Glory of the gods!
That was Weapon X with Viking Chug. All hail Viking Chug. The American Warrior Festival podcast brought to you by the Red Osier Landmark Restaurant, Western New York's premier dining experience, known for its amazing prime rib and dedication to the veteran community. Visit them online at theredosier.com.
Here we are with Fred Alvarado, the founder of Broken Warriors Angels. Fred, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great out here in San Antonio, Texas. Hot, but
awesome.
Okay.
Hey, there you go. Hot is good. Being in New York right now, I wish I was where you were at, enjoying that warm weather.
Yeah, I came from the northern states, and I love the winters here.
Oh, yeah, not too hard to take coming from, like you said, Michigan, correct?
Yes, Michigan.
Yeah, that's Michigan. I think we have weather, or Michigan has pretty similar weather to New York, I'd imagine. Pretty close.
Yeah. You got those cold winters, snow up about 8 feet high,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All the time, ice everywhere. No, I gave it all up to come down here.
You're a smart man, my friend. So, yeah, now Fred is doing great work with his organization called Broken Warriors Angels. And Fred, I want to start with letting people know a little bit about, what got you into the military, what inspired you to serve, and a little history of your military service.
Oh, sure. I was in high school back I'm an old fart, you know that.
Hey, young at heart.
60s. Yeah, and I was in high school, and I wanted to be in the Air Force Academy, but at the time they weren't accepting us, so I joined the Army before I graduated from high school. I went to boot camp at Fort Polk, Louisiana, and then from there I went to AIT at Fort Gordon, Georgia, and I got promoted to E4 right off the AIT, and then I was straight sent to Vietnam, which that was not let's put it this way, it changed my life. I saw things that people shouldn't see, and we did things we shouldn't do, but that's behind us, Well, we lost a lot of friends out there, but hey, we were out there to serve our country, and we had no choice in the matter sometimes. That we did what we have to do out there, and it was either when you're getting fired on, you got to fire back, because I wasn't brought up to do the things I had to do out there. But so it's life, But thank God he got me back here, back to the States, and in one piece, I did have dysentery in Vietnam, and I still have problems with that, but that's irrelevant at this point because I'm doing fine. And I believe that and that God has helped me a lot through my illness and the ministry that I have now. Without him, I think I do nothing, But
you're a real special individual, Fred. When I met you last year in San Antonio, I could tell how much helping your fellow veterans meant to you, and you're the real deal. And I just want to thank you from, our generation, Iraq War veterans. We have a lot of respect for all of our veterans, but especially you guys, the Vietnam veterans. You guys are special because Obviously it goes without saying that when things were a little different now than when you guys came back home, and there was a lot of challenges for Vietnam veterans. And I'm so thankful that you guys are finally getting your due. I feel Vietnam veterans are getting their due more now than they ever have. And it's long overdue. So from one veteran to another, you guys are inspiring to us, and we respect you to the fullest.
It wasn't easy, Dan, at the beginning for all of us. I mean, we're all happy coming back that we made it through it, through that mess. And when we got here, it was like, oh my God, they don't even understand what we've been through,
Right.
They call us baby killers, and they call us all kinds of names and all this stuff. And some of us got in trouble, but I try to keep cool. It was bad because I had changed take off my uniform and put civilian clothes to travel. Otherwise, I got harassed real bad, during that time. But I had PTSD as well, real bad. Of course, I didn't know I had PTSD at this time, I thought the whole world had trouble. Not I. I was in denial. That's how it is with PTSD, when you have PTSD. You think the whole world is always have the problem, not I. But through the grace of God, I was able to find God in my life, and I realized that, hey, I better get some help, because He has a purpose for me to help others as well. Because I've been homeless as well. I lost my marriage. I almost lost my job. So it's a struggle. And I figured that I've been through it. I can help others go through their trauma as I did. And I believe that God wants us to help all of us out there in the streets. So that's why I work with the homeless, the OTH, other than honorable. This other honorable are veterans that the VA does not give any kind of benefits. And what they did is basically they messed up out there doing while they were in service. By that I meant maybe they were doing self-medication at the time and they got caught. Though they serve our country, don't get me wrong. I see in their scars, I see in their wounds, I see in their testimony. I mean, I've spoken to these people. I'm also a peer-to-peer mentor. I'm trained by the state to work with PTSD guys. So I go on the streets and I work with my veterans. But I work with everybody. Trauma is trauma, no matter how you see it. Whether it's combat trauma or you're being victimized by other people. But I believe that God wants to help all out there, not just. So I help as many as I can out there in the streets. We bring them all kinds of resources to the veterans, especially the OTH. We get them medical, we get them mental, we give them other resources out there in the streets. I can't get them to the VA, but I can get them other clinics, and I work with the local clinics here in San Antonio to provide them with the essentials they need that they cannot be provided by the VA, so. And they need a wheelchair. I talk to other organizations, and I get them a wheelchair. They need medical. I go to different hospitals, and I get them into the hospitals. If they need mental health, we go out there in other clinics, and they provide them with mental health. But they'll go get,
This is amazing work, Fred. What you do, getting in the trenches there with your fellow vets, and like you said, anyone that needs help. And that was one thing I really liked when you told me on Facebook a couple weeks ago. You said, Dan, we obviously help veterans, but we feed any hungry individual. And I knew that it was even a greater purpose for you, and for you to overcome all the things you have, and then to channel it into helping the way you do now. It's such an amazing situation. It inspires the rest of us. And the work that you're doing with Broken Warriors Angels, you're getting right into it here, telling people what you do on the day-to-day. And we look forward to trying to help you as much as we can from our end too. We're working to. The food drive in New York is a lot further ahead than the one in Texas, but we are still working on the one in Texas, and we're inspired to get you some more resources. So, stay with us there, brother, and we'll make sure that we take the steps to get you what you need on our end, our contribution.
Oh, great, Dan. Yeah, I got other folks. I work with other folks here as well, like University of Texas and Encounter Word University. Those folks have helped us considerably with resources for us to continue serving the homeless out there in the streets. I also work with Sam Houston, and some military folks there that made us hundreds of masks so we can give out to the homeless, And then I'm working with Lakeland Air Force Base as well. They provide us with all kinds of resources as well. So they know our purpose, and we strive to provide the veterans with direction to veterans benefits and, with information about shelters, about other veterans. And we take them to quarterly events. In other words, we take them fishing, we take them baseball games, we do all the things. We want to realize that, hey, you're not forgotten. We're here for you.
Absolutely. And they need to know that there's people there that value them and care about them and are going to do things to try to make their life better in any way that we can, So why don't we tell the people, because I know today you're busy and you have things going on. Why don't we tell the people what a day in the life of, Broken Warriors Angels helping the homeless vets? Tell us a little bit about how the day will unfold.
Okay. I like, for example, for today, today's Friday, and we feed the homeless from 180 to 200 homeless veterans as well, OTH veterans. And
right.
We not only do we feed them, we prepare this food for them. So we go in earlier and we make 400 sandwiches, we make 200 bags, and we put them on Ziplocs, and we put all kinds of goodies in there, And then it's a process. It's a lot of work, let me tell you. But hey, it's all worth it, to be out there and to give those homeless veterans and other homeless the meal, because they're hungry and they need it. You can see the anguish in their faces. You can see the compassion that they have toward us when we give them items like this, And they thank us. I mean, they're really humble that we're there helping them, Because down in the streets and during the covenants, it's hard to get a meal out there because everything is closed, So,
right. Yeah. I'd imagine right now, like you're just mentioning, that it's even tougher for them to get their meals and help in any way. Right. I mean, since the COVID situation here, it's become more challenging, I'd imagine.
Oh, yeah. And we have to comply with CDC and the city. So we have to be in an area where we can provide these meals, fix this meal on a commercial kitchen in a commercial area.
All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. We just lost Fred for a bit, but now he's back, and we're going to continue talking about the, feeding the homeless during the COVID situation. All right, Fred.
I'm back, guys. Like I said, we feed over 200 folks out there in the streets, and we're trying to comply with the city as well as the CDC, and we're working fine with them. And but we're going to continue to do this as long as we can, But I believe we can all help out by giving us the resources we need, or donations or anything, because it makes a really impact on those folks out there. If you could see their faces and see how they appreciate everything we give to those folks out there, it's amazing to see this, But yeah.
That's awesome, Fred. Now let's tell people how they can get a hold of you and how they can help. What's the best way for people to contact you at Broken Warriors Angels?
Oh, you can go to my website, which is www.brokenwarriorsangels.com. There's a donation button. You can donate there. You can see my profile and what we do. Or you can email me at 1347fred@gmail.com. We have a P.O. box as well, which is 120352, San Antonio, Texas, 78212. If you just feel like calling me or you feel like texting me, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions and help anybody that we can help out there. Thank you so much for everything. God bless you.
Thank you, Fred. And I tell you what we'll do. We're going to put up all your links to and your information on our the YouTube version of this podcast, and make sure that people know how to get a hold of you so they can assist you in your great mission. So we're going to let you get to your work here, because you have great things to do today. And we want to thank you so much for coming on and being a part of our podcast. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you in September. We have concerts planned in your area in September, and they're still on the calendar as of now. So we're hoping to see you then, and we'll be in touch to assist you until we see each other again. So without further ado here, we want to thank Fred for coming on, and we appreciate what you do.
All right. Thank you so much, all of you, for my support
All right.
and everything. God bless you. Bye.
Yeah, you take care, Fred. All right. Thank you. That was Fred Alvarado with Broken Warriors Angels.
Here's Weapon X with POW.
right, ladies and gentlemen, now introducing the master of chocolate, bow ties, and European metal, the owner of Oliver's Candies in Batavia, New York, Mr. Jeremy Lyles. Jeremy, how's it going, my friend?
Good, Dan. Thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no problem at all. It's our pleasure. So what's going on out there in Batavia, New York right now? What do we got going on?
Well, fortunately, we have some sunny skies out here finally, now that our winter has passed, and we're just kind of winding down all our seasons, to be honest with you.
Nice. We're definitely looking forward to some good weather here in New York. We've had sun a few days in a row now, so it's feeling like getting out there and doing things and
Yeah, it
these
might
crazy
just happen.
times.
It might happen.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, did we ever think there'd be a day where we would have to be so confined? I mean, these
crazy.
times.
Yeah, it's been a very unusual year, that's for sure.
Yeah, 2020 has definitely been an unusual year, to say the least.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll roll with it the best we can, right? Like we always do.
That's right.
So now, since we talked about European metal, or I mentioned it there in the introduction, I know it's one of those things where I was like, man, this guy, he runs, the best chocolate factory around, candy factory around. He likes to wear bow ties. And then you said you love European metal and metal in general. So I always thought that combination was awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess a few years back, maybe it's, I fell in love with like Nightwish from Finland that, led me right into, they toured the U.S. and they were accompanied by Volbeat out of Denmark. And so obviously I just got right into them, Sonata Arctica out of, Finland. And then of course you have the classic band like Scorpions out of Germany.
Right.
The old rock band, and Rammstein out of Germany, and right down through, I just kind of started, thank God for YouTube. I was able to find all these different bands, and, I love rocking out to them, and most of them, sing in English, so I understand most of what they're saying. Sometimes I don't understand what they're saying, but I don't care.
Yeah, right. It's all about, especially with metal, if you got great riffs and big drums, I mean, the vocals are really just a bonus to me. What do you think? I mean, to me, metal is riffs, drums, and then the vocals, they just add to it.
Oh, absolutely. The vocals are part of the music. Some people, actually my wife, she's more of I need to know what the words are and what they're saying. And I'm going, I don't care what they're saying. The voice is another instrument is all it is. I'm a huge fan of Iron Maiden, and Bruce Dickinson just has an incredible voice. I don't care what he's saying. It's an instrument.
100%. And in fact, my brother-in-law is a huge Maiden fan, and I've been hanging with him a lot lately. And I just have Maiden riffs running through my head daily, which I guess there's definitely worse things. But I'm like, holy shit! I'm hearing so much Maiden that it's just permeating through my skull. But hey, that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. Not at all.
So, and what's funny about going on YouTube and finding one band? It'll send you down a rabbit hole of like a million others.
Oh, I know. I love that. And that's how you discover, because you can start going off to the right side there and start clicking. And it's like, you're going to find something, you go, oh, this is not right at all. And then there's 10 other ones that are just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And
it's like, what? A box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, I had to. I'm sorry, man. Talk about right on the nose. So Jeremy, let's talk a little bit about just a quick history about Oliver's Candies. Let people know, how it started and how it's evolved to what it is today.
Well, sure. Oliver's been in business now 88 years. We are not the original family. We're actually the fourth family to own it. Started by Joseph Oliver back in the 30s. And then, so through the years, it's his kids weren't interested, so it was sold to another family and so forth. 1998, my parents bought it. It was on the verge of bankruptcy and possibly closing up. Local family that we knew owned it, and my parents had just gotten out of sold out of the binding industry, made 3-ring binders. So that's what I grew up with. Very exciting. Not at all. But it was one of those that came to my mother, my father. They were like, do you, are you interested in buying Oliver's? And, my stepfather, he's like, no. He's like, I'm retiring. I just sold my, company. And my mother from around the corner says, yes, we will. It's a chocolate factory, and my mother grew up here in Batavia and said, it's always been a part of our family. So, my mother ruled and all she wrote, and they bought it. Then I was in a printing company at the time, and so I got out of that, sold that business, and then and kind of came over to help my parents out because they really did want to retire. So we've just been driving it ever since, and growing. We've expanded tremendously. Back in 2000, we tripled the size of the store, and the kitchen's here on location. And then in, I have to think of what year it is, 2018, we had refurbished an old onion warehouse 6 miles down the road, or 6 minutes down the road, and turned that into our new factory, added a second store, moved the whole factory, and have both store locations, and we've just keep growing. We do a lot of wholesale. We make a lot of candy for other candy companies and for other retailers. We do a lot of private label stuff. So we've expanded. We have a global market where we have our online store. We have our 2 physical brick and mortar stores, as well as an Amazon store now that we just built this year too. So we're just going crazy in every direction.
How glad is the whole community that your mother made that strong decision to buy it and to keep it going into the future,
Oh, totally, because it would have closed. It really would have, and that would have been the end of it. I think everybody's thankful that, my mother was just like, yes, that's what we're doing. Obviously, completely. And for me to come over to this industry from, I was digital publishing and printing. I was in a crucial time there because which way was printing going? The internet was booming. Everything was going to digital media and everything. So I wasn't sure of the future of that industry. And so it really just kind of worked out super when they asked me, are you interested in getting involved in this? And I'm going, let's see, chocolate factory versus printing factory. Yeah, you know what? Count me in.
Great decision. Great decision. Oh yeah, I mean, think about just what you guys do for the community. Think about the joy. I mean, I grew up in Leroy, so Oliver's was a part of my childhood. I mean, that's where we got all of our Easter bunnies, and the parents would go in and get the box of chocolates, and Oliver's was a staple since I can remember. So I just know how much it means to the kids, adults, grandparents. I mean, it really is family memories that are created there. That's one of the greatest things about it. It's much more than just chocolate.
Oh, yeah,
amazing
absolutely.
chocolate, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah. No.
And it's funny, I'm not even a chocolate fan. But
really?
We make I do like chocolate really, but it's all the other products that we make that, of course, that I can't stay away from. So,
would that be your sponge candy, or what's your?
Believe it or not, see, and that's kind of crazy too, because sponge candy is our #1 selling product. We sell, oh my God, at least 30,000 pounds of sponge candy in a year. But it's I'm more into like And I don't even like sponge candy. That's the thing. I don't like sponge candy, and I don't like
You
the
don't like chocolate or sponge candy? What?
And our number one's, but that's okay. It's probably better I don't. No, I mean we also own Johnson Candies, which was out of Pennsylvania. We bought that last year and merged it into ours. So we're the number one producer of French creams in the world. And so that has grown tremendously for us, and that's a crystallized candy, very similar in concept to like maple sugar candy, but different flavors. So like peppermint and wintergreen, and then there's fruit flavors and all that, and different shapes. And so the French cream industry has taken off for us. And unfortunately, I do love those. So
I was going to say, I might need to end this interview and drive to Oliver's right now and try out all the stuff that you just mentioned. That sounds amazing. So you guys are really getting out there and diversifying in a lot of different ways. It's exciting for all of us.
Oh yeah, and we find that, and I mean, and especially I'm glad that we have been, going this route when obviously this whole coronavirus thing hit, because. We had just built the Amazon store right in March. I had just kind of started going with that. Our website has always been going strong. But when this hit and everything shut down right before Easter, it just went haywire. And, which was great. Our sales exploded online. But then we ended up having to shut down for a few days anyway, because we just couldn't keep up with the orders. Shipping is so much different than when customers walk in the store to get their Easter bunny. They fill their basket, we check them out, they're gone. Online, we have to now gather them all together, package everything, ship everything. So it was just, the process was something we weren't honestly ready to handle that big of a change that fast.
Right. I was going to say, when your business adjusts that quickly, and you have to see it happen in real time, and the day-to-day grind of it, it really starts showing what it's all about and how you have to adjust to it. And I can imagine that could get overwhelming when it's a massive shift so quickly, like you just mentioned.
Oh, so, yeah, it was insane. But we did the best we could. We got, that's why we stopped. Like, we just kind of said, okay, halt everything. And then so we could accommodate our customers, make sure we made all our customers happy, that we possibly could without, we wanted to make sure all orders got out and got to the people by Easter, before we reopened up and did anything. So, it made some people mad because they're like, oh my God, you shut down right before Easter. Well, it's because we were just trying to fill the orders and, please the customers who already purchased.
Right. You guys needed a timeout, a quick timeout. I mean,
yeah.
We're going through unprecedented times here, and you're trying to figure everything out. Like, hey, T.O., let's get back here on track and then come back strong. And which you guys have done. And you guys have been a pillar of the community here during all this too, fighting through it like so many local businesses are aiming to do. And I commend you for that. I mean, it's a great thing. Now, you guys, it's no mystery to the community that you guys are very supportive of veterans and just the community in general. Tell me a little bit about what inspires you guys to give back to veterans, your community. What is it that drives you there?
I would say deep down, I'm just a patriot. It's I love my country, and we're trying to. All you guys give so much. I wasn't able to serve. I had bad feet, so they didn't want me. But anyway, I always wanted to, and for everybody who did serve, we try to thank everybody. So we always offer, veterans discounts, active military, whatever. You come in and you will get a discount. It is just something that I believe in. I know the government doesn't give back nearly enough of what they should to our vets. So here we are trying to help.
Oh, you guys do a great job of it. And this is a great time to tell the public here
how American Warrior Festival got involved with Oliver's Candies. And I'll never forget my friend Tracy, who mentioned it to someone on our team that, hey, Oliver's would like to help out in their own way. So they'd like to sponsor by giving you some candy bars on the house that we then can go out and raise money with. And I'll never forget that gesture. First off, it was amazing. I think it was something like, it was like 800 candy bars or something, I think. And
yeah, it was at least that. Yeah.
Yeah. They went so quick. It was such a popular thing.
That. Yeah. You're bringing it up and I'm trying to think back and I'm like, yeah, I do remember that because it exploded. And that's where, because I remember when I first started having the conversations about it, I'm like, well, what is this American Warrior thing and all that, and as it kind of grew and grew and it just kind of exploded, and then all of a sudden, you and I are talking and we're, and you got the candy bars going everywhere, and it was like a whirlwind, and it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's been great, and you know what? I see a resurgence coming back too, because I know it was we had them throughout the community a lot in like 2017, 2018. And then, like you said, we started distributing more through shipping around the country. And we've kind of changed where we put the candy bars a little bit, but I feel that it's going to keep growing because we're doing things on the American Warrior end as well that will put us, give us a bigger footprint across the country and then eventually internationally. So where we go, our Oliver's American Warrior candy bars go, and we're just so thankful and appreciative because your candy bars have helped us get through, some tough times and help bolster our good times. So I can't thank you enough, Jeremy, for all that you've done for us and continue to do.
Sure. We're proud to be a part of it. So, I appreciate you, reaching out initially and just making us a part of this. So it's awesome. It's been a great team, I think, between the two of us and everybody else that's been getting involved. And I think it's I don't know. It's just kind of amazing to see it, transform and progress and grow.
Definitely. And I like that we're getting our coffee out there more now too. We're noticing more coffee sales.
I can see some serious potential with that as I'm sitting here drinking some coffee. So
yeah, I got some coffee too, but I can't reach it in my little office here. I need to come up with a new way. I just realized that we started talking about coffee. I'm like, I can't reach my coffee. Then I'm like, am I going to spill it on my microphone here, or I'm gonna mess something up if I make a move? So I'm sitting here like frozen in time. I'm like a statue. So. I'm just getting this thing down. So I tell you what, we've talked about this quite a few times. Anyone that knows Jeremy knows that he's a fan of boats, the water, the sunshine, and rum, correct?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir. Matter of fact, I just put my boat in the water last night. And when we're done here, I'm leaving and I'm going to be on my boat. The sun is out and there's no reason to not enjoy it. But yeah, I love the islands, anywhere from, the Caribbean to, get into, I don't care what part of the world you're in. If there's islands and palm trees, that's where I want to be.
Yeah, that's a win right there. And I tell you what, besides building the business together, that's a great thing, and serving our veterans, number one. But another goal of mine is eventually for you and I to get on a boat like that and be able to hang out and have some rum together. So that's always been something that I can't wait till that happens, my friend.
I'm ready for it.
All right, man, I tell you what, we'll do that sooner than later. How about that? Sound like a plan to you?
That's definitely a plan. Absolutely, 100%.
All right, now let's let the people know how they can get a hold of Oliver's Candies, how they can order. What's the best way for the public to reach you guys and to put their orders in?
Well, obviously the big one is the brick and mortar. I mean, people travel, for miles and miles to come to our store, because it's, people who've never been to our store, when they walk in, and realize the size of it, the amount of candies, because we also sell, gifty items, mugs filled with candy or stuffed animals. We have all that stuff in the brick and mortar stores, and as well as ice cream in our stores. So we have a full line of ice cream with our candies in the ice cream. So we have like our cashew glaze ice cream. We have sponge candy ice cream. So all that great stuff. So the brick and mortar obviously is the easiest. Number two is probably our website at oliverscandies.com. And we have a $10 flat shipping fee. We just changed that this year after Easter. We used to have a full shipping, and then some of that, you spend so much money and had free shipping. That was, it got so confusing for everybody. And the way shipping costs have gone up, we kind of said, okay, we got to figure out how to do this fair. So we just do a $10 flat shipping. So anything you order will be $10 for the shipping. So I don't care if you order $500 in candy, $10 to ship it. So that kind of made it easy. So you can call us, and do the same thing. We can ship it if you just give us a call. And that is, it's 1-800-924-3879. So it's an 800 number. Give us a call, and we can definitely we can ship anything in the store, and we'll do that. And then there's the new one, which is our Amazon store. So you just go into Amazon, and if you search like sponge candy, it will pop right up. You click on the blue Oliver's Candies, and it'll take you right to our whole Amazon store. I know there's a way to search Amazon stores, and I don't know how to. I can't answer that for you, how to do that. That is my wife's. She's the one building that store, so she's the pro at that.
Okay, and if anyone needs that information or wants to hunt that down, just get a hold of me, and we'll make sure that Jeremy gets that information, or just better yet, visit his website and send him an email. And before I forget, we have to mention this. The Leroy School was so happy to have the 350 candy bars that we worked together to get the kids here recently. And I just wanted to thank you for that as well, Jeremy. They really appreciated it, helping the kids over there.
That's awesome. That was a great idea on your part, of kind of, reaching out to the schools, to do something like that. I mean, because obviously, that puts your, the American Warrior right out there, right in everybody's hands. And it's good for, the kids to see this stuff too. This isn't about adults. It's the next generations coming up.
Right.
To help, let's create some more patriots, and, and get, that whole feeling of Americanism and all that. So. I like
absolutely. That's what we're doing. We're reaching them young, reaching them middle age and old, all together, man. We want everyone to come in, and especially get to the youth and let them know that pride in your country and loving where you were born and the freedoms we have. It's all part of the equation. So, I'm tell you what, man. I think it's time for you to get on that damn boat and get in the sun. I mean.
Oh, totally ready. So it's been a long winter, and so this will be the first day back out on that boat. And our summers here are so short, and so it's nice to be able to enjoy it for the short period we do have.
Absolutely. So I tell you what, Jeremy, thank you so much for your time today. It's always a pleasure when we get to have a conversation. So we'll be talking to you soon, and have a great time today out there in the sun.
Thanks, Dan. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you having me. And you and I, we're going to connect very soon, and we're going to have a cocktail out on the boat. So,
hell yeah, that sounds like a plan. All
awesome.
right, buddy. So we'll be talking to you soon. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
That's Jeremy Lyles from Oliver's Candies.
The American Warrior Festival podcast, brought to you by Oliver's Candies, the creator of the American Warrior Festival candy bar. Oliver's Candies is proud to offer you the largest selection of award-winning chocolates made in Western New York. Visit them online at oliverscandies.com. That was Weapon X with These Wounds. Now, let's talk about the Strength in Numbers Entertainment American Warrior Festival favorite sports team concert series. When we're talking excellence in event production and sports, the Raiders, the Yankees, and the LA Kings, in my humble, modest opinion, set the damn bar, baby. Just win, baby. And when I think of the Raiders, Yankees, and LA Kings and all the similarities that they share with our American Warrior Festival, the skulls and bones, the black eye patch, the rebelliousness. We don't take what they give us. We take what we freaking want. That's what we do. When I think of the Yankees, I think of pride and power. And I think of the long ball and the intimidation and the excellence and the championships. Nothing like Yankee baseball. When I think of the LA Kings and the royalty and the hail to the crown, hail to the throne, baby. The black and silver. Yeah, gets me fired up. So let's talk about our programs that are dedicated to those teams. We have a unique and exciting program that we're building with the Raiders, Yankees, and LA Kings through our company Strength in Numbers Entertainment and our band Weapon X. This whole movement was born out of my passion and love for these teams. It all started with us putting on Weapon X concerts that are geared towards fan clubs and fans of these teams, as well as for our Weapon X family. We book music venues that also have the games on, and we put a Raiders, Yankees, Kings theme into the event. We put up our banners, and everyone is wearing their gear. It's a great time. We have names for these concerts as well, such as the Raiders concert is called the Silver and Black concert. The Yankees concert is called the Pride and Power Chords concert, which is basically a take on the Yankees' pride and power. And the LA Kings we call the Hail to the Crown concert, which is pretty self-explanatory there. We also get special Weapon X gear and merchandise made for these events that play right into the theme. So naturally this led us to booking suites with these teams at their home stadiums and eventually visitor stadiums. This allows us to plan and execute our events in other parts of the country, which helps us reach more veterans, more communities, and spread the American Warrior Festival word nationally. So eventually, it just made perfect sense for us to tie in our American Warrior Festival cause to our sports team branded concerts and events in music venues, sports stadiums, and beyond. We figure what better way to show our veterans and military a great time. We host them in a luxury suite at Yankee Stadium, the Raiders' new stadium in Vegas, or Staples Center in Los Angeles. We help build the camaraderie and let them know that we appreciate them. We also include pre- and post-game concerts at local venues that surround the stadiums. So they get to enjoy the game at their favorite team stadium in a suite, and then go to a pre- or post-game live music show. Sounds like a pretty damn good day to me. So this program is also a great way to thank our sponsors and American Warrior family. Our mission is to have veterans enjoy the game and meet all the awesome people that have helped bring our cause to life. For example, how great is it to have the veterans sit next to the sponsoring companies and all the people that are involved with that sponsoring company so they can see where their sponsor dollars are going to work right there in real time in a massive stadium with great energy. This is a multifaceted program that will involve our sponsors and supporters, the team's luxury VIP seating reps, team advertising reps, and the community as a whole, with a focus on the local veteran community. The veterans enjoy the games, our sponsors get awesome advertising opportunities while helping a great cause, and the teams win by hosting our nation's warriors. This is a win-win program for all of us, and we couldn't be more excited about it. So far in 2020, many of our sports-themed events and games have been postponed or credited for the 2021 sports season. These are unprecedented times in the sports world and in the world in general. So we're plugging away, adapting and overcoming as we go. So this is going to conclude our first ever American Warrior Festival podcast. But I tell you what, usually we are going to tell you stay tuned for next week's episode, but we all know what tomorrow is. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, one of the most patriotic holidays of all time. So we're going to bring you a special 4th of July American Warrior Festival podcast episode to celebrate freedom and being an American. So until then, you can find out more information about us here on our website, AmericanWarriorFestival.com. Talk to you tomorrow, friends. Semper Fi, and take care.